Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the McGonagall Boxing Podcast. So obviously big moves in the heavyweight division this weekend. You had Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Luis Ortiz, which unbelievably was for the WBC mandatory position, which obviously the belt was held by Tyson Fury. So I was expecting huge things from Andy Ruiz Jr. I thought Ortiz at 43, 44 now, well past his best. Andy Ruiz still young, was he 30, 31, fresh in his prime. I thought he would destroy Ortiz, I really did. I thought maybe first couple of rounds would be competitive and then 5, 6, 7 he'd have Ortiz out of there. But I was disappointed. I was hugely disappointed by Andy Ruiz Jr. I was expecting so much more. I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but Ortiz dominated that fight. I mean, in large part, but he got knocked down 3 times. It was almost a rerun of the Wilder fights, wasn't it? I mean, Ortiz is still, even though his reflexes diminished, his hand speed, his foot speed diminished, still got that slick Cuban boxing skills and a beautiful southpaw, like absolutely piercing left hand that comes through the jab. And he was a lot of the time he was controlling. Ruiz was countering at times, but generally the dictation of the fight, the large output, the control of the ring was from Ortiz. And this is why the scorecards were a lot closer than a free knockdown would suggest. At times Ortiz lit Ruiz up. This is Ruiz's biggest thing, isn't it? The fact that he's such a heavy lump, he's got a huge chin on him. Anyone else would be knocked out. He took huge left hands from Ortiz, even in the round 2, which was obviously the 2 knockdown round. At the end, he took a huge left hand and he ate that up, which would have knocked many fighters out, and it has knocked many of Ortiz's opponents out. Again, on the scales, Ruiz looked like this undeniable lean machine, fight machine, but getting to the ring, he looked tubby again. He looked ponderous. Not as bad as the Joshua rematch, of course, that was horrendous, but quite slow footwork, decent hand speed, and like I say, he was able to counter an ageing Ortiz. Ortiz was trying to be the aggressor, and Ruiz would throw, especially the vicious overhand right, which we know is Ortiz's Achilles heel. That's gotten him in all kinds of trouble, and that's ultimately the shot that knocked him out twice against Wilder. So, top of the head, overhand right, and that did a lot of damage for Ruiz. And we know Ruiz has got power, we know he's got a tough chin, but it was a sloppy gunslinger of a fight, wasn't it? Don't get me wrong, entertaining to watch. The whole crowd was on their feet. They were just throwing bombs towards the end, but no footwork, no head movement, no defensive skills, no real game plan. And which is surprising when you think that's Eddie Reynoso. You know what I mean? Like, that's Eddie Reynoso training Ruiz Jr. Eddie Reynoso is almost like a mathematician. He's calculated, and it almost went out the window. So I don't know if Ruiz has just ignored him or he just gassed out and thought, I'm throwing hell for leather here now. But I was disappointed. And on that performance, Wilder cleans Ruiz's clock, knocks him the hell out. There's no way Ruiz is taking Wilder's power if he's buzzed, and he was backed up and buzzed by Ortiz numerous times. So easy to hit Andy Ruiz Jr., and I don't care how good your chin is. Eventually, the more fights you do at that, you're gonna go. Trust me, you're gonna go. I don't think he beats Joe Joyce. I don't know if he beats Daniel Dubois. Honestly, he gets schooled by Usyk, absolutely schooled, taking the school. The footwork's so slow, he wouldn't land a punch on Usyk, and Usyk would probably stop him, not knock him out, but TKO, bombardment. Fury would play with him, knock him out. So, Ruiz, for me, he's not, I say he's probably 8 or 9, I really do. Even someone like Fury, do you know what I mean? That slick style, if Fury's on point, could give Ruiz nightmares, honestly. So I'm saying he's probably 9 or 10. I was not impressed. And as for Luis Ortiz, he needs to retire now. He's had war after war, and he's still slick, but he's not ever going to get back up to world title contention. He's been and gone. That time has been and gone. He's 43, 44 years old. He cannot have wars like that. He's going to hurt himself. And I don't want him to be a stepping stone anymore. You know, he's been too good a fighter for too long. So time to retire, Ortiz. You'll make a fantastic living as a pundit and a coach. Do that. A lovely man. But his time's gone. But I was disappointed. I mean, it was a slugfest. An ugly slugfest. And that is not going to beat the elite of the division. Mark my words. But ultimately, Ruiz just about, I mean, literally, is ironic. He probably won, obviously won the rounds he knocked Ortiz down in, for sure, a huge round 2. But then I probably gave him maybe maximum 3 rounds after that. I mean, Ortiz was the better fighter, the better boxer. He just got knocked down, didn't he? I mean, great powers of recovery to stay in there, especially in round 2. Great heart, and he's, like he said, it was a Cuban-Mexican pride thing that really stuck him in there. But, you know, it wasn't a good fight in terms of skill, in terms of defence, in terms of tactician. It was just a slugfest, but my God, it was entertaining, because I thought either of these could go. I mean, Ruiz got buzzed and backed up, but obviously an older man, slower hand speed. Ortiz got rocked. And once he got knocked down the first time, he was always vulnerable. But he ended the fight far more positively than Ruiz did. So, not impressed by Ruiz. He, like I say, just about did enough for me. I had it 115, 113, 7-5. You know, with the knockdowns, obviously winning him the fight. But a long way to go. That was not the new Andy Ruiz that everyone's been talking about, and he didn't look particularly quick or particularly fit in there. But you know, he has got an iron chin, and he's got decent pop and power. We already knew that, but I don't see huge improvements, even though he's been with Reynoso 2 years now. So interesting times. Obviously, Wilder got into the ring afterwards, said, "Yep, let's have it." I think he'll knock Kalanis out and then get the Ruiz fight. And I really think Wilder, even at this stage, battle worn, will knock Ruiz out on that performance, and then hopefully, you know, Wilder will then get a crack at Usyk or Fury. Whether or not Fury wants a full fight with Wilder, though, that's the conundrum, isn't it? Maybe Wilder goes down the regular WBA route and takes on Dubois, which would be a fantastic fight. Young youth versus experience, but you know, Wilder's still so dangerous, he could knock anyone out, but he's vulnerable himself. So exciting times in the heavyweight division. Let me know what you guys think. Was it worth $75? Maybe. It was entertaining. But no, I don't think it was in terms of skill set. But Ruiz is now WBC #1 contender. So, you know, Fury's got to answer that. You know, after he's had the unification or the super fight with Joshua Usyk, he's got to answer that. I think he steamrolls Ruiz, to be honest with you, on that performance. Outskills him, outwills him, and beats him up. But you know, credit where credit's due. Ruiz Jr will be waiting in the wings. Maybe has one more tune-up fight to keep busy, and then he gets his WBC shot. But on that performance, he's not good enough to become world champion.